The shocking truth about Mary Magdalene. 7. Secrets she kept close to Jesus forever. In the dim light of the Jerusalem twilight, whispers rustled like leaves in the wind, speaking of a woman shrouded in mystery and scandal. Mary Magdalene, her name echoed through the ages, soaked in both reverence and suspicion. What was it about her that made the world hold its breath? What secrets did she cradle in her heart? The air thickened as the tale spun on, secrets that would shake the very foundation of faith itself. The first strange element emerged in hushed tones, a rumor that Mary was no ordinary follower, but a fierce and unwavering companion of the man who claimed to be the Son of God. They said she held a truth so powerful it could rewrite history. Was it a love that transcended mere friendship? Or was it a bond sealed by something far darker? Shadows flitted across the stone walls, as if daring anyone to uncover the truth. Suddenly, the voices around her grew louder, and Mary felt the weight of their gazes. "Look where she walks," a voice hissed from the shadows. "Does she not seem possessed by knowledge beyond comprehension?" Gasps followed like a flock of startled birds. You could almost hear the collective heartbeat of the crowd, racing with a mix of envy and horror. Did Mary possess powers that could define destiny itself? Her eyes shimmered with an unfamiliar light, a fearsome beauty that could bring both prophets and kings to their knees. Before we continue, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the sun dipped below the horizon, enveloping everything in an eerie glow, the whispers turned to murmurs of disbelief. Was Mary really the keeper of forbidden wisdom, knowledge of secrets written in the stars that only she could decipher? Thoughts swirled like a tempest in her mind. The revelations, they would be earth-shattering, or perhaps they would lead her down a path she couldn't return from. Then came a moment that hung in the air like a taut string, threatening to snap. A cloaked figure stepped from the shadows, face obscured, yet an aura of authority surrounded him. He beckoned to Mary with a single finger raised, a silent invitation that sent shivers down her spine. Was he a fellow seeker of truth or a harbinger of doom? Her heart raced as every breath felt heavy with possibility and dread. What secret could be so compelling that it would bring such an enigmatic figure to her doorstep? As she stood there, breathless and curious, the night's cold grasp began to wrap around her like a shroud. A question loomed large in her mind. Would she dare to uncover the truth and expose the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows of history? Or would she turn away, leaving the mysteries of her life forever untouched? With the weight of the world on her shoulders, Mary took a step forward into the unknown. The figure moved closer, his cloak shifting in the moonlight like a whisper in the dark. Mary's pulse quickened. The air was thick with electric tension. She could see the slightest glimmer of his eyes watching her intently, as if sizing her up, determining whether she was worthy of the revelation that loomed between them. "What do you seek?" His voice was low, gravelly, sending chills up her spine. "Do you desire knowledge, or is it the truth you fear?" Mary swallowed hard. Words caught at her throat. She had spent her life grappling with shadows, her existence defined by rumors, speculation, and whispers. Could she really unearth the truth behind her connection to Jesus? Should she even want to? "I seek the truth," she managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper, yet it resonated in the stillness of the night. The man's lips curled into a knowing smile, as elusive as the wind. "The truth is a double-edged sword, Mary. It brings both freedom and chains. Are you prepared for the weight of it?" A tremor ran through her, but she nodded, driven by a mix of fear and courage. The weight of the crowd's gazes bore down on her, but right now, it was all about this mysterious stranger and the tantalizing secrets he seemed to hold. Then come with me, he said, extending his hand, cloaked in darkness, yet somehow inviting. There is much to uncover, but you must be willing to face the darkness within yourself. As a hesitant step forward propelled her into the shadows, an uneasy thrill shot through her. She was crossing a line from which there was no return. Once she crossed it, would she still be able to walk in the light? They moved through narrow alleys, the walls damp and cold, the air thick with the scent of earth and secrets. As they walked, whispers followed them, echoing in the dark corners. People peered out from behind doorways, their eyes wide with fear and intrigue. A flicker of jealousy flashed before her. Would they think her brave or foolish? Suddenly, they arrived at an ancient stone door, weathered by time, yet standing resolute. The man raised his hand, placing it on the surface. The door responded, rumbling ominously, as if acknowledging the call of forgotten knowledge. "What lies beyond?" Mary asked, her heart pounding in her chest like a war drum. "The chamber of truth," he replied, his face now illuminated by the weak moonlight, revealing the sharp lines of determination etched across his features. "But know this, once you enter, the truth will unravel the fabric of everything you thought you knew." She hesitated, a lump forming in her throat. What if the secrets were too much to bear, too heavy for a heart already burdened? Yet, to walk away now felt like abandoning a call destined to reverberate through all the ages. "Are you with me?" he pressed, his voice tinged with urgency. With a steely resolve emerging from the depths of her soul, Mary nodded. She took a deep breath, heart racing wildly as she placed her hand on the door, fueled by a burning desire to unveil what lay hidden deep beneath the surface. And then, with a deafening creak, the door swung wide open, revealing a darkness that sprawled before her like an abyss. A wave of dread washed over her. What awaited beyond the threshold? Would she find the answers she sought, or were they better left unspoken, lost to the shadows of history? As she stepped through the opening, the air shifted, charged with anticipation. The true journey had only just begun. The chamber was vast and dark, the air heavy with the weight of history. As Mary moved deeper inside, the door slammed shut behind her, echoing like a thunderclap. Her heart raced, each beat sounding like a countdown to an unseen event. She squinted into the shadows, trying to make out the fine details, but they eluded her like fleeting thoughts. "Do not be afraid," the figure's voice broke through the silence, dripping with authority. He stepped beside her, guiding her through the gloom. What lies in the dark is often what sets us free. With every step, a sense of unease wrapped around her like a vice. The walls were covered in strange symbols, each one telling a story of hardship, connection, and perhaps betrayal. Was this a glimpse into her own life, a preview of her impending truths? Were these? She breathed, glancing nervously at the man beside her. "Memories," he answered softly. "All the lives that have crossed paths with the divine, and what they faced in their pursuit of truth." His eyes glinted in the dark, urging her onward. "You have entered a sacred space, Mary. You will witness what is hidden from the world." As they moved deeper, the darkness began to pulse with energy. Shadows flitted around corners, and she swore she could hear voices whispering her name, calling her to remember things long buried. Were they echoes of her past? The fear of being haunted struck her as she tried to steady her breath. Finally, they arrived at a circular room, the ceiling soaring overhead like a cathedral built for secrets. In the center stood an altar, simple yet powerful, bathed in the faintest glow. It seemed to beckon her closer. "Here is where truth reveals itself," he said, his voice almost reverent, as if they were standing before a deity. "Approach." The altar held a parchment, aged and fragile, but imbued with an aura of significance. As she reached for it, a rush of images flooded her mind, memories that felt like her own but were foreign, laced with a potency she couldn't ignore. Was this a combination of her past and the whispers of ancient souls? With trembling hands, she unfurled the scroll. The words were cryptic at first, but then they began to resonate, echoes of divine messages intertwining with personal revelations. Each line unveiled pieces of a puzzle: her identity, her connection to Jesus, and the burdens she unknowingly carried. Suddenly, a shaft of darkness sliced through the air, snatching the scroll from her hands. It vanished before her eyes, leaving only the stale scent of air laced with deep-rooted sorrow. Panic surged through her veins. "Give it back," she cried, reaching out. But the figure remained calm, eyes fixed deep in the shadows as if expecting something more. "Mary," he said slowly, "the truth comes at a price. You cannot unveil the layers of deception without confronting your own darkness. Are you ready to face what you've buried?" Her heart lurched. Was she prepared to confront her insecurities, her fears, and the part of herself she had tried to silence? As those thoughts stormed her mind, the shadows around her shifted, whispering secrets that felt both familiar and alien. "I have to know," she whispered, each word forcing its way through trepidation. Before she could process it, the room trembled as if alive. The air thickened and time felt suspended. Would she find her answers and, in doing so, discover parts of herself she had tried so hard to suppress? It felt as though the entire universe was holding its breath, waiting to see if Mary would dive in her own depths or retreat into the safety of ignorance. The ground beneath her feet cracked like ice, sending a surge of adrenaline through her. As the shadows twisted and morphed into figures circling her, Mary realized she had crossed into a larger game, a cosmic battle between light and dark. And in that moment, the first question of her soul echoed loudly in her mind. Could she endure the truth of her own story, or would she crumble under its weight? What awaited her on the other side of this doorway into knowledge? The air thickened around Mary as the shadows coalesced into figures, faces devoid of features, but radiating a palpable sense of anguish. They hovered close, their whispers a cacophony, rising and falling like a mournful tide. "Face it, confront it," they urged, their voices blending into a haunting melody that sank deep into her bones. Each figure's presence appeared to prickle her skin, igniting her fear. "Stop!" Mary clutched her head, trying to block their words, but it was impossible. It was as if the very walls of the chamber were alive, feeding off her anxiety. She had entered a whirlpool of her own thoughts, spiraling down into a blend of despair and urgency. "Courage, Mary!" the figure beside her shouted, his voice rising above the hum. There was a flicker of light in his eyes, piercing through the dark. "You must accept the truth. Only then can you reclaim the scroll." "Reclaim?" she echoed, breathless. That ancient parchment felt like a lifeline slipping further away. "What do I need to face? What truth can I bear?" As if summoned by her question, the chamber trembled once more, a low rumble like thunder. The ground beneath her quaked, and with a blinding flash, the symbols on the walls ignited, casting strobing shadows that danced violently around them. Images jolted through her mind like electric shock, scenes of betrayal, pain, love lost and found, sacrifice and salvation. Then, like a struck match in darkness, one scene blazed brighter than the rest, a lonely figure hanging on a cross, tears tracing a path down a weary face. It was a subtle yet potent reminder of sacrifice, one that felt all too personal. Mary drew in a quick breath, wrestling with the wild array of emotions. "I'm not ready," she shouted, hands instinctively shooting up as if to shield herself. "I can't do this." But the figure beside her steadied her, his gaze firm. "But you must. This is not just about him. It's about you, Mary. Your story is intertwined with his." The figure began to fade, becoming one with the shadows, yet his voice remained, reverberating in her mind. "Remember, to find the truth, you will have to confront the darkness you harbor within. Accept it, embrace it, and only then will the scroll reveal itself." With his words echoing in her ears, she felt another shift within her. The air thickened again, but this time with a different kind of tension, a charge of untapped strength surging from her core. In that moment, clarity washed over her. Perhaps this was it. Perhaps the secrets she feared were the same threads that bound her to a greater purpose. What if she could break free from them instead of being consumed by them? As Mary pressed her palms into the cool stone beneath her, a renewed determination surged through her. "I'm here," she yelled into the swirling void around her, the shadows quieting momentarily to hear her. "I'm ready." The entire chamber lurched, the walls vibrating with an otherworldly energy, and the figures turned toward her, their whispers morphing into a soft chant, urging her forward. Before her, a shimmer broke through the darkness, outlining the space where the scroll had disappeared. The atmosphere crackled in response to her resolve. The shadows now appeared less threatening, more like shadows of past burdens shedding away. "Bring it forth," they chanted. The altar brightened, the wall behind it growing tangible to display an ethereal door. It glimmered with flecks of gold and silver, inviting her in. Mary's heartbeat quickened. What was on the other side? Would it propel her deeper into the truth or shatter her into pieces? Determined, she took a step toward the door, her hand outstretched, ready to embrace whatever awaited her. But just before she could touch it, a distant laugh erupted through the chamber, slicing through her thoughts like glass. "You think you are ready?" It was a voice she recognized, one that sent chills down her spine. "Time to decide, Mary. Are you truly brave enough to see what lies within?" As doubt flickered in her heart, she paused, teetering between the safety of ignorance and the promise of knowledge. Could she afford to move forward, or would the revelations aim to destroy her? Answers danced in the air, tantalizing yet dangerous, echoing the eternal struggle between light and darkness. Would she step into the unknown and uncover the depths of her own soul? Or would she retreat from the life-altering truth that awaited her? Mary stood frozen, heart pounding as the piercing laughter slithered through her like a serpent. She narrowed her eyes, searching for the source, but there was only darkness. The shadows seemed to part briefly, revealing flickers of familiarity. Faces from the past danced on the edges of her vision, taunting her, beckoning her closer. "Who is there?" she called, every syllable soaked in trepidation. The initial bravado was flickering, caught in the web of her fears. The ethereal door behind her pulsed, urging her onward, but the weight of the voice lingered in the air like a storm cloud. "You know me." The voice carried on, a melodic undertone twisting into something sinister. "Your past, your regrets, it's all intertwined. You've buried it deep, haven to you." Memories cascaded in her mind, moments of betrayals, wrong decisions, faces she thought she'd left behind. A lump formed in her throat. She had always tried to forget. She thought she had escaped, yet here they were, taunting her once more. "Face it, Mary. You can't outrun who you are." The voice echoed, a chilling invitation that wrapped around her. "You can't hide from the truth." With every breath, a war raged inside her. She wanted to bolt, to flee from the chamber and the weight of those haunting memories. But part of her yearned for answers, for resolution, for closure. The scroll felt like it held the key to everything she had buried. The shadows around her shifted, growing restless, their whispers growing insistent. "Step forward. Embrace what you've tried to deny. Only then will you find peace." "Peace?" Mary scoffed, her voice shaky. "Is that what you call it after all you've done? After what you've kept hidden?" The mocking laughter rose again, as if the shadows reveled in her turmoil. "Oh, but you hold the power, Mary. You could rewrite it all." A flicker of resolve pierced through her fear. Maybe the truth was terrifying, but it was also liberating. No more of this torment. No more hiding. Mary squared her shoulders, each breath filling her with a fierce determination. "Fine. I'm ready, bring it on." As if in response, the chamber trembled, the walls resonating with her challenge. The shadows recoiled for an instant, as light burst forth from the ethereal door. It radiated warm hues, expelling the oppressive darkness. Mary stepped closer. Each pulse of light felt alive, alive with possibilities. Answers waited behind that door. It was a gamble, yet the greatest rewards often came with a risk. Remember, Mary, The past doesn't define you, but the truth will set you free, the voice taunted, mixed with a hint of despair. Those words felt like a challenge, resonating deep within her. She hesitated, heart racing as the door beckoned. Would she truly plunge into the unknown? The laughter of the shadows faded, morphing into whispers of hope. With a steadying breath, she reached out, fingers brushing the surface of the door. Silently, she closed her eyes, preparing for what lay beyond. Just then, a blinding flash erupted, the door swinging wide open to reveal the depths of her soul, a landscape she had both longed for and feared. In that moment, Mary felt the weight of 100 eyes upon her, warm and cold, hopeful and judgmental, propelling her forward as she took the plunge. But as she crossed the threshold, the portal shimmered, threatening to close behind her. What will you uncover, Mary? The truth or a new torment? As the door began to close with a sinister creak, she realized she was not just walking into her fate. She was careening toward a revelation that might just change everything. Would she reclaim her power, or would the past consume her once more? The truth hung tantalizingly close, waiting to be unveiled in a way she could never have anticipated. What if it was more shocking than she dared to dream? Mary's heart thudded in her chest as she crossed into the light. Everything around her shimmered, and the landscape unfolded like a vivid dream. Gentle breezes brushed against her skin, carrying scents of lavender and rosemary, familiar yet foreign. Each step felt both exhilarating and terrifying, like standing on the precipice of a cliff, ready to leap into the unknown. She glanced around, her surroundings morphing with every breath. It was a scene out of her memory's sunlit fields, the laughter of children, echoes of joy now mingled with shadows of sorrow. Faces flitted in and out of view, some she adored, others she wished to forget. They reached for her, appearing as phantoms in her mind, pulling her toward the truth she had so diligently tried to evade. "Welcome," Mary, a soft voice crooned. It was so familiar, yet so haunting. Mary turned to find a figure standing a few paces away. It was a woman dressed in flowing white, with hair as dark as the night sky. "Who are you?" Mary breathed, though an unsettling twist in her gut told her she already knew. "Your past," the woman replied, stepping closer. "I'm all the pieces you'd rather push away. The love you lost, the dreams you crushed." Her eyes pierced through Mary, naked truths swirling within them. Each revelation thudded against Mary's heart like a drum. She felt exposed, vulnerable, and painfully aware of every secret she'd fought to keep hidden. A flood of guilt washed over her. The choices made, the lives affected. "I didn't mean to," she whispered. "You didn't mean to?" The woman raised an eyebrow, almost smirking. "You're not here to justify anything. You're here to confront it, to own every ounce of your truth." Mary's breaths quickened, drowning in a mix of fear and fury. "What if I don't want to? What if it hurts too much?" "Denial is a double-edged sword," came the soft response. "You can run, you can hide, but without facing your truth, you'll end up right back where you started, repeating the past over and over." Suddenly, the ground beneath her feet flickered like a film reel, images flashing rapidly. Fights with loved ones, cries of anger, tears shed in the dark when no one was watching. It was a whirlwind of emotions, leaving her dizzy. Without warning, the shimmering grass transformed into a muddy battlefield. "Do you see?" The woman's voice echoed, shaking Mary from her trance. "This is what you've created, a vicious cycle of pain and regret. Others suffer because of choices you've made. Can you handle the weight of that truth?" Mary swallowed hard, feeling her throat tighten. A heavy burden pressed against her chest. I didn't realize," she murmured, the gravity of the moment crashing over her. "Then let the light of truth guide you," the woman instructed, pointing toward a radiant path cutting through the fog. "You must walk this road to finally break free." The shadows lurked close, their whispers turning sinister again, calling for her to retreat. "Don't listen to her, Mary. You can forget. This isn't real." They shrieked, but the light ahead shimmered with promise, a beacon of hope. "I'm not done yet," Mary shouted back, feeling a defiance build within her. As she took a hesitant step toward the light, the ground trembled beneath her. The laughter of the shadows morphed into a cacophony of wails and cries. Mary clenched her fists, heart racing, ready to choose her path. If she moved forward, it might unveil truths she wasn't prepared to face. But what lay within that brilliance? Was it hope for healing or the raw pain of revelation? Just then, the ground broke apart before her, revealing a dark chasm filled with swirling mists. Would it swallow her whole, or would she find the strength to cross it? The question hung in the air like a lingering fog. What would she uncover on this precipice of destiny? Unsure but resolute, Mary needed to take that step into the light before time ran out and the shadows claimed her for good. Mary took a deep breath, the air swirling around her, thickening with anticipation. Every instinct screamed at her to pull back, to retreat from the brink of the unknown. But she couldn't. Not now. As she steadied herself, she stared into the chasm, the mists swirling ominously at the bottom. They whispered, taunted, even echoes of her past mistakes clawing at her resolve. "You don't belong here. Don't look. Turn back." The shadows' voices slithered through the air, wrapping around her mind, like tendrils of creeping dread. Then, she remembered the woman in white. Her truth had never asked for permission, nor had it softened the impact of her decisions. What else worse, the fear of facing the truth or the agony of never finding out? Mary thought, steeling her shaky resolve. With determination swelling in her chest, she stepped forward. Instantly, the ground beneath her trembled violently, as if it were alive, trying to reject her intrusion. The swirling mists danced with fury, trying to commune with the shadows. But she pressed on, her heart hammering, each thud an echo of her defiance. The light ahead began to pulse, a heartbeat of its own, beckoning her closer. All around, the shadows writhed, desperate to pull her back into their dark embrace. Images emerged from the fog, hauntingly familiar. Faces of loved ones, her childhood friend breaking down in tears, her mother, tremulous but steadfast, trying to shield her from the realities of loss. "No," she gasped, stomping forward. "I won't let you drown me in regret." With each step, her strength began to grow. The mists parted slightly, revealing flickers of light flashes of good memories tangled with the pain. Those moments of laughter, love, and connection flared to life, drowning out the cacophony of whispers. She recalled afternoons filled with sunny skies and unburdened laughter beneath the old oak tree, the scent of wildflowers, the warmth of friendship. They were the threads of hope woven into her very being. But darkness thrashed wildly, battling against her resolve. "You can't escape. You'll always be stained by the choices you made. The shadows will always follow you." They shrieked, voices merging into a howl, rising to a deafening crescendo. Mary halted, her heart racing, uncertainty flooding back. Could she really confront the truth buried within her? Was she strong enough to marshal her fears into something tangible, something she could face? "Your past can't define you," the woman's voice rang out, "but can guide you. Face it, Mary. Take that step." Closing her eyes for a fleeting moment, she gathered every ounce of strength she could muster. Memories washed over her, and for the first time, she allowed herself to absorb both the joy and the heartache. This was her trial, her journey, her truth. Finally, she lunged forward into the light, her feet breaking the tension of the threshold. The moment felt electric, as if she had stirred something deep within the abyss. The chasm gaped wide, revealing whispers of secrets yet untold. What lay inside that brilliant glow? Was it freedom or a greater abyss? As she propelled herself forward, the ground shifted beneath her, the shadows writhed in protest, rushing towards her like a tidal wave grasping for one last hold. Then, a deafening silence enveloped her. In that stillness, she opened her eyes, her breath caught in her throat. She felt herself suspended between what was and what could be her fate uncertain. Would she rise or fall into the depths? And what startling truth awaited her on the other side of this leap? The light engulfed Mary, a warmth that seeped into her very bones. She felt weightless, as if floated on gentle waves rather than solid ground. A kaleidoscope of colors swirled around her, a beautiful chaos that intrigued and terrified all at once. Then the light dimmed, revealing a vast expanse that pulsated softly. Glimpses of scenes flickered in and out, faces, places, moments, all intertwined with emotions too profound to name. She felt not just a spectator, but a participant in each memory that graced her sight. Laughter echoing through sunlit fields, tears shared in dimly lit rooms, whispered promises under starry nights. "Where am I?" she whispered, disbelief lacing her tone. The shadows that had pursued her receded, their presence fading, replaced by a profound longing. Suddenly, an overwhelming sense of clarity settled over her. She understood, at least in part, that this light was her reckoning, not just a revelation of her past, but a confrontation with every secret she had buried deep within herself. The emptiness of her heart's denial weighed on her like an anchor. "Face the truth, Mary," the familiar voice beckoned, soft yet insistent. "Only then will you be free." She drew a shaky breath, her resolve solidifying once more. "Okay," she murmured, determination surfacing. "I'm ready." And with that, she moved closer to the glowing heart of the light, her feet finding the strength to carry her forward. But with each step, the taunting shadows slithered back, whispering doubts into her ears. "Are you truly ready?" they hissed. "What if you discover something beyond your worst fears? What if you find out it's not worth it?" Mary gritted her teeth, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "I have to know," she replied, her voice steady. "I refuse to live in this haze of uncertainty any longer." As she stepped into the heart of the light, she was engulfed in a wave of sensations. Visions flashed like lightning. Vivid yet fleeting, they painted the reality of her choices. The anguish of her past took physical form. A young girl's nightmares transformed into the cries of her younger self. Memories morphed into physical entities. The boy she had loved and lost, the friend she betrayed, and both parents who waited for her to come back home. Each vision struck her deep, unraveling the tightly wound thread of her perception. Anguish and guilt flooded her. Yet amidst it, she saw flickers of redemption, moments when she had chosen hope over despair, love over anger. The balance between despair and hope echoed in her heart. "What'd I do with this?" she gasped, feeling the waves crash around her. Suddenly, the light shifted, drawing her attention to one final vision. It was her standing at a crossroad in her life, a choice looming over her. The woman in white appeared, her silhouette glowing more radiant than ever. "This is your defining moment, Mary. Do you see?" Mary's heart pounded as she recognized the choice before her, her chance at redemption, at confronting the legacy she would leave behind. But what alteration would it bring to her fate and those around her? With the shadows swirling dangerously close, Mary felt the weight of the decision straining against her. Will I lose everything if I choose to embrace this truth? The light flickered, the woman's gaze urging her on. Or gain everything? Mary whispered, newfound hope blooming in her chest. Caught in the uncertainty, she held her breath, ready to face whatever lay ahead. But just as she began to reach towards clarity, the ground shook violently. The light shattered into chaotic fragments, and the shadows lunged for her. You've made your choice. But what cost? In that heart-stopping moment, with her world spiraling out of control, the question lingered in the air. Could she truly alter her destiny, or was she spiraling into a darkness deeper than she had ever known? The ground rippled like a disturbed pond, sending Mary into a tailspin. The chaos twisted around her, snapping and crackling with static energy. Moments she thought she had come to terms with now threatened to drown her in a flood of emotion. The shadows, having scattered like dust in the wind, reformed with a vengeance, their whispers now taunting yet more insistent. "Don't you see?" they hissed, lunging closer. "You've torched your safety net. You can't escape your past, Mary. It's too late." With her heart pounding, she steadied herself against the turmoil. The remnants of the light pulsed around her, and in the chaos, she caught a glimpse of the woman in white. The specter seemed to swirl in and out of existence, but her eyes remained locked onto Mary S., fiercely urging her to push through. "Focus on the truth," the woman shouted, her voice cutting through the encroaching shadows. "Only the truth can save you now." Mary shook her head, panic flooding her veins. "What truth? I don't know what to believe anymore." The answers rose from the depths of her unresolved memories, bursting forth like a dam breaking. She remembered the boy, the one with the bright eyes and the warm smile. The last evening they spent together rushed back to her, their laughter ringing out like a bell. He had promised her forever, but forever had dissolved like mist in the morning sun. The burden of that regret settled in her chest, a shard of glass cutting deeper with every heartbeat. "Face it," a voice yelled, and she recognized it as her own, echoing from the corners of her fractured mind. "You turned away. You ran. Why?" "I was afraid," she cried out, the chaos around her quieting just enough for the truth to surface. "I was terrified of hurting again." "Ah, but hurt is unavoidable." The shadows moaned, encircling her. "Pain is part of the package. Embrace it, and life becomes so much more than fear." Suddenly, the memories changed form. No longer were they just ghosts of the past. They morphed into vibrant scenes pregnant with emotion. She saw herself surrounded by friends, laughter erupting like fireworks, love swirling through the air. Yet below every joyous moment lay the truth, her fears, her betrayals, and pain. "Will you ever forgive yourself for abandoning what once mattered?" The whispers grew louder. "You traded connection for safety. You sabotaged love." Mary's resolve wavered once more, trembling in the face of this harsh revelation. Every voice she had ignored, every feeling she had stifled, clamored for attention. Standing on perilous ground, with shadows looming above, she began to realize what if confronting her past was the very thing she needed to reclaim herself? With every ounce of strength, Mary reached out, as if to touch the incandescent heart of the light once more. "I'm ready," she shouted, "ready for whatever comes next. I'm done hiding." In an explosive burst of energy, the chaotic world around her shattered, revealing a boundless expanse filled with light. Yet within that brilliance, uncertainty lingered, the price of her choice still hanging in the air like smoke after a fire. But just as her surroundings began to settle into something resembling peace, another tremor rocked her reality. A dark figure emerged from the shadows, more sinister than any she had faced before. Its eyes were pools of darkness, filled with malice and secrets, and those chilling words echoed in her mind. "You think you've faced your truth? Your journey has just begun." With a gasp, Mary felt that dread creep in again, wondering what other countless layers of her past awaited her. What would she have to confront next? The stakes were higher than ever, but was she truly prepared to dive deeper? Mary's heart raced as the figure loomed closer, enveloping the air in suffocating darkness. The energy around her stilled, and time felt suspended, the weight of her choice hovering menacingly. The shadows twisted around her legs like creeping vines, whispering promises of despair, while the brilliant light behind her begged for her trust. "What do you want?" Mary challenged, her voice shaking but fierce. Who dared confront her now, when she finally dared to embrace her truth? "It's not what I want, dear Mary," it rasped, the tone sinister yet tantalizing. "It's what you fear most, the deeper truths you've kept locked away." With it came a surge of dread. She had fought to uncover her own reality, and now, in the face of this new threat, self-doubt thudded like a drumbeat in her ears. But beneath that fear, resilience burned bright. "It couldn't end here. Your fears will haunt you forever if you don't face them," the figure continued, edging closer, the shadows casting a deeper pall over the light. "You think the truth will liberate you, but it will only reveal more chains. No, Mary shouted, fists clenched, pulling strength from her newfound resolve. The truth is mine to uncover. I want to let you intimidate me. As the darkness swarmed, it began to pull back slightly, evaluating her reaction. This was a game it had strived to manipulate her fear, and she could almost feel its hesitation. Encouraged, she stepped closer into the light, letting it warm her skin, a radiant shield forging around her heart. I choose to acknowledge my fears. I refuse to let them control me, she declared fiercely, a surge of clarity filling her. With every word, the shadows strained, flickering at the edges of her courage. You think you know yourself, but you are nothing without your past. Those burdens will crush you. No, they'll all make me, she shot back. They'll shape my future in ways I've yet to see. I want to run. I want to hide. I will embrace every mistake and make peace with every regret. Reinforced by her conviction, the light exploded around her once more, pulsating with brilliant energy that drove away the darkness. The figure flinched, horror mounting as the shadows eroded into nothingness. And within that radiance, fragments of her past began to crystallize into clarity, familiar faces, laughter, tears, and lessons learned. Mary, a soft voice broke through, gentle and loving, slicing through the tension like a warm breeze. It was the woman in white. You've regained your heart. Will you now forge ahead? Yes, Mary replied, standing tall. I'm ready to create something beautiful from the ashes of my past. I want to connect, I want to love without fears holding me back. The woman smiled, and with that, a path of shimmering light unfurled in front of Mary, illuminating her journey. Then walk it, embracing both the light and the shadows. With newfound vigor, Mary stepped onto that path, the shadows behind her melting away, and she felt a renewed sense of purpose. No longer shackled by the weight of her past, she forged ahead with the promise of healing. The world around her transformed into vibrant colors, a cascade of memories unspooled before her, each one a lesson, a reminder of why she fought so hard to claim her truth. She saw the faces of those she loved, their edges softened by forgiveness and understanding. Embrace your story, the woman encouraged, her presence magical and comforting. It's a tapestry that weaves all truths together, both glorious and painful. You were never meant to face it alone. As Mary walked forward, the warmth enveloped her, filling her heart with gratitude. No longer was she a mere whisper in the shadows of history. She was the narrative. She had the power to choose her ending. The echoes of the past faded gently, replaced with a chorus of hope and laughter as she moved further into the light, where endless possibilities awaited. And with every step she took, she knew one thing for certain. The truth would never bind her. It would set her free. As Mary embraced the light, ready to step into a brighter future, she finally understood that the true power rested within her, and she was willing to share it. Now is time for you to share this journey with your friends. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will unfold. Smash that like button now to throw some love into the algorithm. Flood the comment section with your reactions and theories about this. Ending your voice matters. And whatever you do, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second. Your support is crucial, and only true fans understand the importance of this community.